What if everything you know about the creation of the world is only half the truth? Imagine a man who walked so close to God that death itself simply couldn't touch him. A man who was taken alive to heaven without ever passing through the grave. His name? Enoch. And now hold on to this. That same man wrote an entire book. A book so explosive that the church hid it for nearly 2,000 years. A book that the official Bible barely dares to mention. Yet it reveals secrets capable of turning upside down everything you think you know about angels, about evil, and about the end times, angels who descended to earth out of pure lust, cannibal giants who devoured humans like cattle, forbidden knowledge, magic, metallurgy, astronomy, weapons that changed humanity forever, and a final judgment that, according to the text, is far closer than any modern prophet dares to admit. The Dead Sea Scrolls prove it existed, yet still, it was cut from the canon, erased, hidden. Why? Today we're going to open the forbidden pages of the Book of Enoch. We're going to meet the Watchers, the Grigori, the sons of heaven who broke every rule. And the most shocking part, we're going to understand why all of Russia, from the government to the scientists, has become obsessed with this story in recent years. Get ready. Because after this video, you'll never look at the Bible the same way again, nor at the ancient ruins of giants, nor at the strange signs happening in the world right now. Stay with me until the end. Because in the final minute, I'm going to ask you one single question. A question so disturbing it may make you rethink everything you've been taught about God, about heaven, and about what is really happening to humanity. Ready? Then take a deep breath. The most dangerous journey in the Bible is just beginning. Who was Enoch? Imagine traveling back in time to the very beginning of everything. Not to the flood, not to Noah. Go even further back. To the 7th generation after Adam. The lineage is precise, almost like a secret code engraved in the Bible. Adam begot Seth. Seth begot Enos begot Canon, Canon Haligod begot. And Jared begot Enoch. He lived exactly 365 years. It's not just a number. It's the same number of days the sun takes to complete a year. Coincidence? Or a sign that this man was connected to the very rhythms of heaven itself? But what really sends chills down your spine is in Genesis 5:22-24. And Enoch walked with God for 300 years. And he was no more, because God took him. He didn't die. There was no funeral. There was no grave. God simply took him alive to heaven. Just as he would do centuries later with Elijah in a chariot of fire. An ordinary man, living in a time of growing violence, corruption, and giants walking the earth, chose to walk so close to God that the Creator himself decided, this one will not taste death. In the Book of Enoch, he becomes something even greater, the scribe of heaven, the official messenger. The man who received direct visions from the angels about the past, present, and future of humanity. It's as if God had chosen the most faithful patriarch to record the spiritual behind the scenes of human history, the parts no one else was supposed to know. And that's exactly why his book is so dangerous. Because it doesn't just say be good, it reveals what really happened in the days before the flood. The secrets the official Bible barely touches, the names, the crimes, the pacts that changed everything. If you're already feeling chills and want to discover what Enoch saw that no one else was supposed to see, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. Because what comes next will change forever the way you read the Bible, the Book of the Watchers in the Book of the Watchers. The first and most explosive section of 1 Enoch, we read something that simply should never have been written. A story so raw, so detailed, and so dangerous that it seems to challenge the very veil between heaven and earth. 200 angels, beings of pure light, created to watch over and protect humanity, were overcome by a desire that should never have existed in heaven. They are called the Watchers, or Grigori, a word that means those who never sleep, the ones who are always awake. But in that distant time, in the days of Jared, father of Enoch, the sleep of temptation overcame them. Labai Singjaza or Shemihaza, their supreme chief, they looked upon the daughters of men and saw in them a beauty that set their immortal hearts on fire. What began as secret admiration turned into open conspiracy. They gathered in council and made a decision that would change the destiny of all creation. They descended like flaming shadows, leaving behind celestial glory. Their landing point was the summit of Mount Hermon, a real place. Icy, isolated, and imposing right on the border between Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. At 2,814 meters high, covered in eternal snow, Hermon is still known today as the Mountain of the Oath or Mountain of the Curse. There, under a sky that seemed to watch in absolute silence, as if the cosmos itself held its breath, they made a terrible oath, sealed with blood and eternal condemnation. So that no one could back out, Semyaza said, "Let us all swear and bind one another with mutual curses. Whoever abandons this plan shall be cursed forever." And all 200 answered together, "Let us choose wives from among the daughters of men and beget children with them." But the story doesn't topi achi lust. They didn't descend just to sin with the flesh. They descended to steal. They brought with them forbiddance knowledge, secrets the Creator had locked away in heaven, reserved only for celestial beings. Secrets that, once revealed to mortals, would open doors that could never be closed again. Azazel, one of the most feared leaders, taught men how to forge deadly weapons, swords sharp as lightning, knives, shields, breastplates, and armor. He revealed the metals hidden in the depths of the earth, how to extract them, melt them, and work them. He taught how to make bracelets, ornaments, the use of antimony to paint the eyes, cosmetics to enhance beauty, precious stones and all kinds of dyes. The world, once simple, was changed forever. Other watchers revealed even more hidden mysteries. Semyaza taught enchantments, spells, and the cutting of roots, the foundation of ancient magic and pharmacology. Armaros taught how to undo enchantments. Barakijal revealed astrology. Kakabiel taught the secrets of the constellations. Ezekiel explained the knowledge of clouds. Arokil showed the signs of the earth geomancy. Shamsiel revealed the signs of the sun. Serial taught the course of the moon. And the list goes on. The book records the names like Sensenten Semjaza, Artakifa, Armen Kakobil, Tamil, Ramil, Danil, Barakal, Asasil, Armaros, Batrielano, Zakil, Samspil, Satarel, Turil, Jomjail, Serial, and dozens more, each one carrying a specific piece of celestial poison. They broke the divine order. What was sacred heavenly secret was thrown onto the earth like a poisoned gift. Technology, power, seduction, war, magic, astronomy, metallurgy. Everything was handed over at once to a still primitive humanity, incapable of handling so much power. Imagine the devastating impact. Suddenly primitive man gained tools to build empires. And also to destroy them, evil spread like wildfire across dry grass. Violence exploded. Lust, greed, and corruption took over. And the children of these forbidden unions. They were not normal humans. They were something far worse. Hybrid beings of superhuman strength, a race that should never have existed. This is the ancient, detailed, and shocking explanation for the mysterious passage in Genesis 6 to 1-4, the one the official Bible barely dares to explain or explore, as if it feared opening that door completely. And the most terrifying thing of all, Mount Hermon still exists. It still stands imposing, covered in snow, on the same border, and some say the oath was never truly broken. That remnants of that rebellion still echo in the shadows of the mountain, in strange reports of unusual energy, electronic failures, and presences no one can explain. Ready to dive deeper into what came after this fall, into the fate of the forbidden sons, into the cry of blood that rose to the heavens. Stay with me, because the story of the giants is only just beginning. And what comes next is even more disturbing than you can imagine. The Nephilim and the flood, the consequences were catastrophic, and darker than any horror movie has ever imagined. What began as a forbiddance desire quickly became creation's greatest nightmare. The daughters of men who gave themselves to the Watchers conceived and gave birth to a race that should never have existed. The Nephilim, the giants, the hybrids. The Book of Enoch describes them with details that freeze the blood in your veins, beings of terrifying height, colossi of superhuman strength. Some ancient manuscripts speak of impressive heights, reaching hundreds of cubits. More extreme versions mention up to 3,000 cubits, almost a mile, and a half of pure living fury. They weren't just big. They were devouring monsters, hungry titans, creatures whose appetite seemed endless. First, they devoured all the produce of the earth. Entire fields of wheat, loaded orchards, herds of cattle, nothing escaped their insatiable hunger. The once fertile land was reduced to a barren desert in just a few years. Then, when the food from the fields ran out, they began to eat the humans, themselves like cattle. Men, women, and children were hunted, torn apart, and consumed alive. The book says the giants didn't just kill, they devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood, spreading violence and terror wherever they went. When even humans weren't enough, they turned against the wild animals, the birds of the sky, and all of creation. The earth filled with blood, with incessant screams echoing day and night, and with a corruption so deep that the very soil seemed to cry out for mercy to the Creator. The air was heavy with the smell of death and decay. Humanity, now reduced to terrified prey, raised a collective cry of despair that pierced the celestial portals. A cry so loud and painful that it reached the ears of God himself, and God answered. He summoned his faithful archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael and Uriel, and gave clear and terrible orders. Go down and bind the rebels. End this abomination. Raphael was given the mission to bind Azazel, the great master of the forbidden arts. Then hid him alive, shunned and darkened of Dudale, covering him with rough stones and eternal darkness, where he would remain until the great day of judgment. The giants would turn one another, fratricidal massacre. Father against son, brother against brother, an internal war of blood and fury that lasted until almost all had fallen. When their gigantic bodies finally collapsed on the earth, their evil spirits did not die. Freed from the flesh, they became the demons and unclean spirits that, according to Enoch, still roam the earth today, tormenting humanity, whispering temptations, and causing invisible suffering. Then came the flood. It was not just punishment for ordinary human sin. It was a total reset of creation, a divine judgment to end once and for all the era of the fallen angels and their monstrous offspring. The fountains of the great deep burst open and the windows of heaven were opened. Waters rose above the highest mountains, swallowing everything that breathed, except those God chose to preserve. Noah received the warning in advance. In some ancient traditions, this revelation came directly from the words of Enoch, the man who already lived in heaven as the celestial scribe. A flood of waters is coming to destroy all corrupt flesh, but your seed will be preserved. Build the ark and save what remains of pure creation. Enoch, the scribe of heaven, became the silent witness and prophet of this great purification. He saw, recorded, and wept for the destruction that was approaching, and also for the hope that would survive in the waters. Ready to see what remained after the waters receded, what was left of humanity. And, more importantly, did any of that ancient corruption truly disappear forever? Dave me. Because the story is far, very far from over. The echoes of those days still resonate today. So why was this book removed from the official Bible? This is the question no one wants to answer out loud, but one that has echoed for centuries in the darkest corners of church history. The Book of Enoch never entered the Hebrew canon. Around 90 AD, at the Council of Jamnia, Jewish leaders closed the doors of Holy Scripture and left Enoch outside, coldly labeling it a pseudepigraphon, a text supposedly written centuries later, between the 3rd century BC and the 1st century AD, but here the veil begins to tear. The early church knew this book very well. So well that the Apostle Jude, in the New Testament, directly quotes, Pra fora de Judum 14-15. The first church fathers read it, copied it, and debated its content in secret. So, why was it deliberately silenced? The official reasons sound too convenient. Controversial theology, angels who descend and beget monsters. Forbidden knowledge handed to humanity, man-eating giants. A vision so raw and detailed of the evil that arose before the flood that no one wanted to open that Pandora's box. There was fear of esoteric interpretations, fear of questions no one could control. Yet the mystery becomes even more unsettling when we look at the evidence that survived. Extremely ancient Aramaic fragments of the Book of Enoch were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran, dated to about 300 years before Christ. This proves, beyond any doubt, that the text was already circulating among the Essenes, those mysterious desert monks, as something sacred, powerful, and essential. And the most shocking part, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has kept the complete Book of Enoch in its biblical canon to this day. It is the only place in the world where the full version survived, preserved in the ancient Ge'ez language. Meanwhile, the Roman Church and Protestant churches chose the cleaner and safer version of Genesis. A version that doesn't go into such uncomfortable details about watchers, Nephilim, and secrets stolen from heaven. Perhaps the details were too controversial. Or perhaps there was something they simply didn't want the world to know. Because the book repeatedly speaks of a Son of Man who would come to judge the world, a description that many early Christians saw as a direct reference to Jesus, but one that dangerously complicated the entire official canon. Why was a book quoted in the New Testament, proven by the Dead Sea Scrolls, and preserved by an entire ancient church erased from the Bible that most of the world knows? What exactly do these texts reveal that was too dangerous to remain? Conclusion and prophecy, but Enoch doesn't stop in the past. His visions cut through the veil of time and burn straight into our present. He prophesied the great final judgment with terrifying precision. The Son of Man descending from heaven accompanied by thousands of saints and angels to judge the wicked and the rebels, the same prophecy the Apostle Jude quotes in the New Testament as if fire were coming from the mouth of God. He reveals what he called the Apocalypse of Weeks, a sequence of ages marked by deep deception, unrestrained violence, apostasy, and growing darkness. Until, in the final act, justice explodes like lightning and a new heaven and a new earth are born from the ashes of the old world. And here's what sends chills down your spine. Many who dive into this book today look around and see the exact same signs. Enoch saw more than 2,000 years ago. Corruption devouring entire nations. Forbidden knowledge being handed to humanity in massive doses, advanced technology. Artificial intelligence playing God, weapons that can wipe out continents, genetic manipulation. Strange signs in the skies. Violence that no longer seems to have limits. Could the echo of the Watchers, evil still be resounding across the earth? Are we living the final chapters, he recorded in heaven? The book delivers an inescapable, and at the same time terrifying truth. God sees absolutely everything. Justice may be delayed, but it never, ever fails. And you? Do you believe these ancient texts, deliberately hidden for centuries, hold dangerous truths that humanity was forbidden to know? Or do you think it's all just forgotten legends of an ancient people? Leave your honest answer in the comments right now. After everything you've discovered here, would you have the courage to read the complete Book of Enoch? If this journey stirred something inside you, do this now. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of the mysteries still to come. There's so much more behind the pages the church chose to lock away. So much more. Thank you for walking with me this far on this forbidden journey. May you also learn to walk with God the way Enoch walked. Before heaven opens once again. See you in the next mystery. Stay alert. The end may be closer than any of us imagines.